Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be talking about NIO. And before we start the video, guys, please make sure to leave a like on the video below. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Join the family, guys. Let's go on our investor journey together. So today we're going to be talking about NIO. As you guys see, NIO is down 4% again today, guys. But if you guys don't know what NIO actually does, NIO is an EV company that's based out of China. They produce luxury EV cars. Looking at the 5-year chart, guys, this thing IPO'd September 12th of 2018. Basically, it's been on IPO on the market for a little over 2 years, and it's currently up 571%. Year to date, guys, it is up 1,551%, with the peak actually being up 2,000%. As you guys have seen, NIO has just been hit with a lot of bad news recently. There was that whole Chinese delisting bill, which did cause the stock to sink a little bit. But within recent news, NIO also said that they were going to be selling 60 million shares, which today later found out that it was raised to 68 million shares to be sold at a 7% discount, which caused the stock to sink a little bit more. If you guys don't know, stock offerings are super crucial when it comes to expansion. A lot of people do not know this, but I can understand why people do not like them, because it does devalue the stock to a certain extent. But with the stock offering, guys, NIO is set to raise $2.65 billion in capital, which is really, really good, guys. They use this money so they can ramp up production, start working on bigger and better things. And, a company, when it wants to expand, guys, you have to understand that, it needs capital to expand super, super quick. But NIO's also had a lot of good news recently as well. We did see their earnings earlier in the month of November. And they did very, very good on their earnings, right? As you guys can see, their losses are shrinking and their revenue is starting to grow more and more, with $960 million in revenue expected by the next quarter. They also did get a huge analyst upgrade the other day from Goldman Sachs, guys, from $7 all the way up to $56, which was a 666% analyst upgrade. So there's been a lot of good news for NIO recently. I mean, we got their November deliveries, and their November deliveries were very, very good. And they're also working on a bigger and better battery, 100 kilowatt battery. And they're also working on a self-driving chip to be able to roll out into the robo-taxi service. But more back into the news that we got today, guys. So, they raised the 60 million shares to 68 million shares. A lot of people are not happy about it, right? It did cause the stock to sink a little bit more. Currently down 3.94% today. But in good news, guys, NIO did actually reach a deal to build 100 EV charging battery swap stations in China. This is absolutely huge, guys. And what this actually does for the company is not only makes it more convenient for people, but it also makes it known that, NIO is trying to make its presence known in China, guys. And this is just goes to show that this improves energy supply experience for users, and also lowers total ownership costs for the electric vehicles, which is the benefit to the customer. And it's a positive side of why people should be buying NIO's cars in itself. The main question is, do I think NIO stock is a good buy at $40.41? Do I think right now is a very good time to buy NIO stock? I'm always going to say yes, guys. I do think right now is a very good time to buy NIO stock at $40.42. And the reason I say this, guys, is because, NIO is projected to be growing a lot more in the next coming years. Obviously, everything I say in my videos, guys, is not financial advice. It's just my personal opinion. There's been a lot of analysts saying that, people should start to rotate out of these EV companies, these Chinese EV companies specifically. But for me, I think NIO is going to be a top EV company. I think that NIO is going to be growing for a very long time. The reason I say this, guys, is because in other news, you guys have seen, they now signed a deal with 100 EV battery stations. They're consistently getting analyst upgrades. Like I said, a big one from Goldman Sachs, and they're also starting to produce and sell more cars. As you guys have seen, Tesla is starting to make more of an appearance in China, right? And that was probably like NIO's biggest fear. That's probably going to be NIO's biggest competition. Tesla, being a very well-established brand, will probably reign dominance until NIO does something about it. But NIO set to drop 2 new sedans to compete with Tesla's Model 3. They're also dropping another SUV and an electric minivan as well, which goes to show that not only is NIO selling more cars, but they're also working on developing their overall product line, being able to expand with cars, and like I said, raising capital to be able to expand. NIO already has plans to expand to Europe by the middle of 2021. We do have NIO Day coming up at the beginning of the year, guys. January 9th, I believe, is the date. And on that day, guys, we're going to be seeing all sorts of cool products, basically what NIO is going to be unveiling and what is to actually come for the company in the next couple of years. I know a lot of people are not too fond of the CEO right now, but I think generally the CEO has good guidance for the company. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think he's taken the company very, very far. Like I said, guys, looking at the 1-year chart, this thing was trading at $3.76 at the beginning of the year, now evaluated bigger than General Motors, a company that's been around for a very long time. It's not just NIO as a company though, guys. You have to understand that there's just generally more demand for the EV market. There's more demand for the EV cars, which leads me to say, or leads people to ask as well, where's NIO stock actually headed in the next couple of years? Where's NIO stock headed in the next couple of months? For me, like I said, just bad news after bad news after bad news for NIO stock. Like I said, we got the public offering, which is never good for a stock because it somewhat does devalue the stock. We got the Chinese delisting bill basically saying that, if companies don't abide by auditing guidelines, then they're going to be delisted from the NASDAQ, specifically Chinese companies in themselves. So, this has caused a bit of sell-off for the stock. But for me, guys, whenever there's a sell-off, guys, I always buy the dip on these stocks. I always think it's a good opportunity to actually get the shares for cheap. NIO has been on this insane run all year long, and I know that in 2021, NIO is going to experience a lot more growth. Like I said, guys, their losses are shrinking, their revenue is growing, they're dropping more product, they're dropping a bigger and better battery, and they're working on ironing out the kinks with the company in itself. And, I think this stock is going to be worth $300 by 2022 to 2023, and I also do think NIO stock is going to be headed to $100 in 2021. Like I said, you guys don't have to agree with me, but with the recent growth that we've been seeing from NIO, guys, and basically all the growth and all the analyst upgrades and the expansion of their product line, bigger and better batteries, and there's just so many good people behind the company. There's a lot of big-time investors behind the company, and a lot of retail investors love NIO stock, guys. I think it is a top EV company, and I do think it is going to be the next Tesla. Yes, there is a rise in competition lately, guys, because, everyone wants a piece of the EV pie. People know that this is where the money is going to be made. People know that there's money to be made in the EV market, and the constant expansion and growth. The fact that NIO was able to grow this much this year alone in the state of a pandemic goes to show, that once we have a vaccine, guys, and once everything kind of gets back to normal, NIO is going to be hitting a huge amount of growth because, a lot more people are expected to buy EV cars in China. They say by 2025 that 20% of all car sales are expected to be EV cars, and they expect that to go all the way up to 50% by 2035. So you can say, you guys can see it yourselves that, EV is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be leading us to the next decade, and it's probably going to be the next big industry. Hence why we have so many IPOs this year, guys. We have Workhorse and Hyliion and XPeng and NIO, and so many of these big-time companies are now starting to get noticed right now, just in this year alone, just due to the fact that, people saw the historic run that Tesla went on, right? People thought that Tesla was going to fail. People thought that Tesla was going to, $0 or whatever. It was going bankrupt. But guys, look at where it is today. It's honestly an empire. It's going into the S&P 500. It's got over a $600 billion market cap. I do expect the same for these other EV companies. People know that the market is there. People know that there's a lot of money to be made. And I know that if people invest in NIO right now, guys, $40.29, I know that there's also still a lot of money to be made with the stock. With that being said, guys, that's all I really have to say about the video. Let me know down in the comment section below, guys, what you think of NIO stock. Do you think NIO stock is worth the buy at $40.29? Do you guys think NIO stock will be the next Tesla? If you guys own NIO stock, how many shares do you guys own and what's your average? I'm always very curious to know. With that being said, guys, thank you. Have a great day.